unless you make it so hard on the employee to kick in as a mandatory piece. I think, and the other thing that I'll say is that although I'm not sure how valuable to a prospective employee it is to know what the retirement benefit is as compared to salaries. I mean, we're trying hard to get our salaries up to competitive rates in the different departments. Certainly prospective employees are concerned about their retirement, but not to the exclusion of their pay.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I know what you're
inartfully
saying. I actually
suggesting.
have a town employee sitting in the audience, Chief Coughlin. Dave, would you like to speak to this?
I'd like to retire someday. And I've kind of been talking to Gary about this for a little while, that as a benefit, I felt it was important that the town start looking at increasing the town contribution towards the retirement. Especially kind of looking and seeing what other employers have done, what my wife's employer does, what area people in the same position that I have, and I think it's a valuable asset, and I think people do look at that retirement piece and what they're willing to do. I'm like Dave Groves said, a saver. I do the extra. I contribute to both plans. So increasing my mandatory amount from 1.5 to 3 or 4 is fine with me because I'm already doing that. But I can see the concern of the employees that do the 1.5, and I don't know how these retirement plans work. Whether like Gary alluded to, if you can offer different plans, like if there's employees that want to stay with the 1.5 and the 6.5, kind of like the health insurance plans, you have options, and then the town could offer a 4 and 8 plan. And the employee can choose what they would like to.
And
I don't know if that can be done, but
this wasn't staged. I didn't realize that Chief Coughlin was coming in tonight. But I think we've gone through 9 employees this past year, and we're struggling trying to find help. And it's been mentioned to me on more than one occasion by other applicants that our retirement plan is not up to speed with what our competition is. And I don't personally have an issue with remaining at 1.5% for the employee contribution, but I can tell you right now, we're probably the lowest that I've seen out of any of my research. You don't find anybody that's just requiring 1.5%. There is a commitment from the employee. We're going to give you this much, but you are going to have to be willing to go and give this much, and it's going to benefit you by the time you retire. So, I don't think 7 and 2 is going to be a big stretch. We can stop this next year. We can make plans to look at it differently down the road, but this is making a movement and showing the staff in the town of Oakland that we're trying to get it up there.
But let me go back for a second. If it's now 6.5 and 1.5, and I think I heard you say that the employee can kick in more than 1.5.
Absolutely.
Then there should be nobody who complains about the 1.5. If the town is going to put in 6.5, and Dave can put in 1.5, but he can choose to put in more, then he shouldn't be complaining about the 1.5. That's really, am I missing something?
Yeah.
What am I missing?
I don't know if you're missing anything, but I think from an economic viewpoint and for the good of our future generations, I think we do have to give them incentives to increase what they're putting aside for their retirement. And I think it makes all the sense. That's what 90% of companies do with the 401ks. They'll put in 6%, you put in 3%. If you want them to put in more, you've got to put in more. And their retirement builds up more quickly. It's to their benefit. But they have to be persuaded that, I'm sure Dave would say, if we increase by 1%, if you'll increase by 1%, he'd say, yeah, I'm getting a 2% increase. I'm already putting some aside. So I think we do have to have some incentives for them to add from their pocket to their retirement. And I think we should increase what we do as a town, but I think they should buy in. So if we're gonna increase it by 0.5%, requirement is they increase it by half.
I totally agree. We have a large percentage of our town employees who want us to switch over to Main State Retirement. We're so far off base on that right now between both the employee contribution and the town's contribution. I feel that the logical way to approach this is just a slow, steady march to get to that point. And if we're looking at, 10.5% from the town's contribution and 8% for the town employee, if I've got a lot of these employees wanting that, then we need to start moving our plan to the point where it's affordable for us. And I think that, we could offer two plans, but at least we're starting to get ourselves in a place where it's not gonna be sticker shock. Because if we take going from 6.5 to 10.5, it's gonna cost us a lot of money.
And they're not gonna join if they're not close to the 8%. If they're at 1.5% in 5 years, there's no way anybody's gonna say, well, I'll give another 5.5% to be on Main State Retirement.
So if you had somebody who was making $40,000 a year working for the town, and they were putting in 1.5%, that's $600 as far as I figure.
Right.
We're gonna tell them that starting on such and such a date, they're gonna put in 8%. So now they're gonna put in $3,200. So they're gonna have to reach in their wallet for $2,600 more than they're putting in right now. That's what's gonna make them happy. I don't, in exchange for the town putting in another 1.5%, $600, they're gonna have to put in $2,600.
So what would you propose?
I wouldn't wanna be the one to tell that to the guy driving the plow truck tonight, who's the only breadwinner in his family. I'm willing to consider it. I'm not a definite no, but I'd like to know more about the options that the people had. Maybe we need to talk to somebody who does this for a living and see what options are available. Unless you may know everything about it. I certainly don't.
Okay, so I guess my question is, what would you like to do? Where would you like to lead this tonight?
Well, I'm just one guy, but I would like to see a proposal or somebody from Maine PERS run up here and explain the different programs to us. Because in my example here, I don't think the guy that's putting in $600 a year into the plan is in the office bugging you to let him put in $3,200. If you put in another $600, I don't think so.
The only thing I'm going to share with you right now is I am currently in negotiations with the police department. Okay, and that's all I'm saying.
Okay,
and,
I understand.
Main State Retirement is very much wanted, period. And I just think that making a slow move to that, like I said before, is a reasonable way of approaching it. And I think that, if we want to go 7% and leave them at 1.5%, I'm good with that. I just think that we need to go and make a decision as quickly as possible where we have a budget process going on, that I'd like to have some numbers so we can start moving this thing forward.
Well, like I say, that's just me. That's a concern that I have. Maybe I'm the only one.
Mr. Bowman.
If that's true, so be it.
And I think there's a lot of merit to going to 7, but I think there's as much merit for, if they want that 0.5% more, then they have to match it. Because if they ever want to get to the Main State Retirement System, and they're at 2, and we're at 10, they're not going to put in their 6%, as Bob's saying, to get to that system. And if they do, that's up to them. But I just think that we can have an escalator where every year we can add 0.5%, they add 0.5%, get up to 3.5. If they don't want it, they don't have to. They can stay at 1.5%. They can stay at whatever we are now, 6.5. If they don't want to take the jump, they have the choice. If they want to go up to 7, they have to go to 2. If they want to go to 7.5, they go to 2.5. They go to 8, they go to 3.
Individually, they have a choice?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That would be my thought, is just leave it up to them.
two plans, either stay the same or
get an increase, but you have to also contribute to that increase. And that's the whole philosophy of 401Ks now, where businesses, and that's what most businesses, because they can't afford the retirement systems. So they're saying if you want a better retirement system, you're going to have to help build it, because they found their pension programs are going bankrupt.
So I'm asking for vote.
I'll make a
7
motion
to
that we
2.
go to 7 and 2 for this budget session, because our meetings are starting within a couple of weeks here. And then during the year, before we do this next fall, we have some presentations from Maine PERS or some other retirement thing to, and the employees have a chance to sit in on some of these to see which way they'd like to continue.
Motion is made to go to 7 and 2.
I'll second.
Motion made second. All in favor? Oh, there you go. Took us a while to get there, but we got there. Next one is to discuss the Oakland's selection for Chamber Committee Service Award.
And the town of Oakland has been selected this year to receive the Community Service Project of the Year award. And I've told you about this, and this is basically based on the collective things that we've done over the past few years. And the reason why I put it on the agenda tonight is we've had a number of different committees who brought us to this point. We've got the Oak Fest Committee, we've got the Flower Committee, we've got the Gazebo Committee, the Music Series Committee, the Facilities Committee, and so on. So they've asked me to come up to receive the award, but I really think that the people who should be receiving this award should be the volunteers who've done all the hard work to do this. And I would like to go and see the chair people of each one of these committees to be up on that stage with me to receive it. But there's a caveat to it. The chamber's only paying for 2 tickets, and the tickets are $55 a piece. So I think that in the fact that these people have donated so much of their time to make all this good stuff happen, that it would be appropriate for us as a town to at least buy the tickets for the people who are the chair people on these committees. And so it's, this is in council's hands, and we're looking at about 7 people, and at $55 a piece. And I haven't presented this to anybody, other than maybe talking to a few of you and maybe to Jan, but the committee members don't know about this. I just wanted to get some thought from you, if you feel as though this is plausible, or if it's a bad idea, or what.
so they'll be responsible for their guest.
They'll be responsible for the case.
No.
I think it's a good idea. I think we should get the people out there. I think this is a type of situation where the Waterville, it's not a Waterville Chamber of Commerce, mid-Maine, but Waterville is the seat. We often get concerned when they don't reach out to the neighboring communities and recognize us. I think this is a great opportunity for that to happen. I think we probably, and I know we've talked about paying for people's recreation or celebration out of tax monies, but I think there's a way around it. I think we have monies in this town that were not raised through taxation that could be used for something like that, and I would say let's use some of those monies that weren't raised through taxes that we have and provide a ticket to the chair of each of those committees.
And it's held in Oakland.
That's right. It will be
It's going to be held in
That's
Oakland. So I think it's money well spent for all these committees have done for the town of Oakland this last, 5-6 years anyway. So I'd make a motion that we let you invite one person from each of those committees.
Okay.
Motion is made.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Discuss the Oak Fest Student Volunteer Program.
Okay, this is a program that I put together, and I've sent this out to you before. I've actually gone off and talked to the superintendent on the face value of it. He certainly was behind this. I haven't heard a lot from him. I just think that I want you guys to realize exactly where I'm coming from on this. Is we have an extremely unique opportunity here. What we're doing is we have Oak Fest, which is an established event. We're going into our 6th year. We hold it on school property. The problem is volunteers are very scarce, and we're using just about anybody in town who's willing to volunteer right now. This is actually giving us an opportunity to develop an incubator program for young volunteers to come into volunteerism. And I'm looking for people who aren't just looking to fill their 40 hours of committed time that they need to go and graduate. I'm looking for people who are young leaders, people who are planning on going to college and maybe using this as part of a curriculum for the school. The reason why I'm sharing it with you is because if you have any input and if you'd like to see this change, if you think it's a bad idea, I guess this is the time to talk about it before we implement it.
Go ahead, Don.
The high school has basically required community service for 20 some odd years, and it's great ideas, and it has given the kids an opportunity to do something that's been very positive. I'm not sure if we should exclude that as a path for some of the kids to participate in this, because some of the kids that you want to participate are so busy and so tied up with drama, music, sports, and their academics, that if this could be coordinated in their program as part of their volunteerism, you might have a bigger cadre of students that would be able to take on something extra.
Right.
So I just don't know. I think it's a great idea, but I'm not sure if we shouldn't exclude it or if we should say just those kids, hey, this could be your volunteer project as it's developed by one of your instructors.
I agree with that. What we'd like to do is have them follow this program right from the beginning of the year. Start with the first meeting. If we have to move the meetings up on school property, then we can do that. And get some young ideas and let it play out for